Right now, somewhere, someone is nodding along in a meeting they completely disagree with. You've done it too. Everyone has. There's a reason for that, and it's older than language. Because somewhere back in your bloodline, there was a first time, a first human who looked at the group, looked at what everyone else was doing, and didn't do it. And it almost certainly got them killed. Picture it for a second. Not a courtroom, not a protest, just a small group of early humans, maybe 20 of them, gathered around a fire 200,000 years ago. The leader points at something, says go this way. Everyone moves. Except one person doesn't. You have to understand what that meant back then. There was no concept of individual rights, no idea that a person's opinion mattered on its own. If the group left and you stayed behind, you didn't get to be brave about it for long. You got eaten, or you starved, alone, with no one to help you carry water or fight off a predator or share a kill. Saying no wasn't an opinion, it was a gamble with your life on the table. So why would anyone do it? This is where it gets strange. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm spent years studying hunter-gatherer societies, and he found something that doesn't fit the picture most people have of early humans. We tend to imagine cavemen just following the strongest guy around, doing whatever he says because he's got the biggest club. Boehm found the opposite pattern over and over. Early human groups actively resisted domination. If someone got too bossy, too controlling, too greedy with meat from a hunt, the group didn't just quietly obey. They mocked him, ignored him. In extreme cases, they killed him. Let that sit for a second. Refusing wasn't rare. In some of these societies, it was basically routine maintenance for the group. Which means somebody had to go first. Somebody had to be the one who rolled their eyes at the alpha, the one who said quietly or loudly, "I'm not doing that." And every single time, that person had no idea if the group would back them up or turn on them instead. Here's the part that should bother you a little. Your brain still runs that same calculation every time. There's a study almost everyone's heard a version of, but not everyone understands why it actually happened. Solomon Asch in the 1950s put people in a room with actors. The actors would all give an obviously wrong answer to a simple question, like which line on a card was longer. Not a hard question, not a trick, just obvious. And about a third of the time, the real subject went along with the wrong answer, just to match the group. Here's the detail people skip. Asch didn't just record their answers. He asked them how they felt while agreeing. Many of them described physical discomfort, tight chest, racing heart. Some genuinely started to doubt their own eyes. Your eyes watching a line, and your brain still tried to talk you out of trusting them just because the room disagreed. That's not weakness. That's an alarm system built over thousands of generations of a very simple rule. Disagreement equals danger. So think about that first human again, the one who said no by the fire. Their heart rate would have spiked the same way, same tight chest, same flood of doubt. Except they didn't have psychology studies or evolutionary theory to explain any of it to them. They just had the feeling, and they pushed through it anyway. Now here's the twist that changes the whole story. That instinct to conform, the one that makes you go quiet in meetings, the one that made a third of Asch's subjects doubt a line they could clearly see, that instinct is exactly why the first refusals mattered so much. If everyone conformed easily, all the time, no exceptions, groups would never correct course. A bad leader would stay in charge forever. A dangerous decision would go unquestioned until it killed everyone. Somebody has to be willing to absorb the risk of being wrong or being hated in order to even test whether the group's direction is worth following. Researchers who study group dynamics call this a minority influence effect. It doesn't take a majority to shift a group's behavior. Psychologist Serge Moscovitz showed that even a small, consistent minority holding their position without wavering can slowly pull an entire group's opinion toward them. Consistency is the key word there. Not loudness, not aggression, just someone who doesn't fold. Which means that first human by the fire probably wasn't dramatic about it. No speech, no fight. Maybe they just quietly kept doing their own thing day after day while everyone watched to see if the sky would fall on them. And when it didn't, something shifted. because now there was proof that you could say no and survive it. That proof is still doing work in you right now. Every time you disagree with a group and don't immediately cave, some ancient part of your nervous system is running the exact same risk assessment that early human ran by the fire. Tight chest, racing pulse. Am I about to be cast out? Except you're not going to be cast out. Not really. Not for disagreeing about a restaurant or a work decision or which way to load the dishwasher. Your body just hasn't updated the file. So next time you feel that tightness in your chest before you disagree with someone, that's not you being weak. That's an alarm built for a world that mostly doesn't exist anymore. Somewhere back there, someone felt that same tightness and said no anyway. You are still carrying what happened next.